Hello YouTube, this is MikeB the Game Genie, and this is my video response to NT1138's Top 3 Tuesday, featuring the Cynical Enigma. And his question was, your top 3 gaming related items that you had to give away or sell. So guys, this is my on-location man-flu response to Top 3 Tuesday. Truth is, realistically, I haven't done a response in forever to Top 3 Tuesday, and I just feel really bad about it. So I really want to do one. The only problem is it's a very hard question to answer. Hard because I've been very fortunate. I haven't had a lot of problems where I've needed to sell off a lot of my gaming-related items to come up with some cash. I've never really had that problem. And I guess that's because I'm lucky. It's also because I've worked my entire life. So I've never really come across that. But I have had situations where I had to give away a couple items, so that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. The first one would go back right to when I was a kid. I was probably around 13 years old. And I was really big in the time. There was a movie store, and they offered this deal that you could trade in one of your games plus $6, and you can get a brand new game. So at the time, I had just finished a great Super Nintendo game called The Addams Family. So I really enjoyed The Addams Family, but I had finished it, and I went down to take a look at what they had in the store. And sure enough, they had a complete in-box copy of Super Castlevania 4. And I had never owned Super Castlevania 4, but I was a huge fan of the Castlevania series, and I really wanted to try it out. So I traded in my copy of The Addams Family. Unfortunately, I had never run across another copy of The Addams Family, and I really missed the game because if anybody's ever played it, it's actually an incredible game. Lo and behold, 2 days ago, I went to a store here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, called Digital World, and they got a deal on used games out front. It's 4 for $10, and sitting there in the pile was The Addams Family for the Super Nintendo, so I finally replaced it. Second situation ran across because anybody who watches me know I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. And I had pre-ordered Final Fantasy VIII from a store called MikeB, which later became Games Exchange in Newfoundland. So I didn't really think about it a whole lot. I just went in and pre-ordered it. I didn't even ask them what the price was. So the price ended up, they wanted $89, which I know I got robbed. But anyways, I had pre-ordered this game. And this came at a time where I had just finished up working as a day camp counselor all summer. And I had just gone back to school, and I didn't really have a whole lot of money. So I took a look around everything I had in my room to see what I could trade in, because for some reason I used to trade stuff in, I don't know why. And I came across a copy of Resident Evil Director's Cut that I had bought from MikeB, and I had never even opened. I was a huge fan of Resident Evil 2, I just never got around to playing the first one. So I picked up a pile of other stuff that I didn't miss a whole lot, and this copy of Resident Evil. And I went down to MikeB, and I traded it all in. I think I still owed another $40, and I picked up my copy of Final Fantasy VIII. And needless to say, I wasn't very disappointed by Final Fantasy VIII. However, it really bothered me that I gave up my copy of Resident Evil Director's Cut. So sure enough, I ended up waiting a whole nother year, couldn't find it anywhere, went back to MikeB and picked it up again, and I bet you it's the exact same copy that I had traded in, brand new seal. My number one gaming item that I had to give away, this one's the farthest off the rails that you can get. What happened was, I had a really good friend of mine when I was around 15, 16, and he had a Sega Genesis and a Sega CD. He was the only other person that I knew that had both, and really still played it, was really into it. So this was around the era of the PlayStation first coming out, and we were all going to go get Final Fantasy VII. But right before that was one of my first foray into really enjoying role-playing games. He had lent me his Shining Force games. So he had Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2 for the Genesis, as well as Shining Force CD, and he had lent all those games to me. So he decided he was going to go get a PlayStation, and he was going to go get Final Fantasy VII, so he was going to trade in everything he had, his whole Genesis collection and his Sega CD collection. But he offered me, he said, if you want to keep those Shining Force games, you can keep Shining Force 1 and 2 and Shining Force CD for $50. And at the time, I was just about to get a PlayStation 1 as well. I had Final Fantasy 7, so I didn't really want to bite, but man, oh man, I had to think about it. $50. That would have been incredible looking back on it today. So I said no. Anyways, he traded in all 3 games. I think with his entire Genesis collection, the Sega CD collection, all his systems, he only got like $90 from Microplay towards his PlayStation 1 and Final Fantasy 7. So anyways, that was a huge disappointment. But the bigger disappointment was I let it slip through my hands. And still to this day, I've never replaced any of those games. So that would be my number 1 item that I let go because I didn't have the money at the time, I guess. Anyways, I want to say thank you so much to T1138. Again, Top 3 Tuesday is a wonderful thing. Thank you so much for doing it. Cynical Enigma is a great YouTuber. I've been following him here for a little while now. I advise you guys to go and check him out. Anyways, this is MikeB, the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time. Oh man, this man flu is killing me.